Satnam, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to another in our continuing program, Your Miracle Mantra Moment, where I'll be chanting Dandan Ramdas Guru, Jinsriyatine Savaria, for 11 minutes, and then talking for a little while. So I hope you'll say hi in the comments section, and that if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments, and I'll get to them after we do the chanting. And those of you who have been here a few times will know that there are a couple of different ways to practice this. You can simply chant along or sit silently. Those are two ways. But the third way, I guess, is to do it as a meditation where you use a particular mudra. And so the mudra is with your right thumb up and your left hand around that right thumb like a fist, right? And then the right fingers come up along the back of the left hand, and you just hold that gently at your heart center, and your elbows are relaxed at your sides. And when we do it this way, the benefit is that it releases fear of the future. So in that way, we can clear the way, get our own anxiety out of the way, so that the gift of compassion and insight and intuitive knowing and trust in the universe, trust in the unknown, can arrive. So just trust yourself in this process and chant along, and then we'll talk a little bit afterwards. Great. Ramdas Guru. Atal Ataho Atum Tum Tera Antar Par Varia Atal Ataho Atum Tum Tera Antar Par Lam Lom Kam Krodh Moh Mar Kade Tun Sapar Variya Lam Lom Kam Krodh Moh Mar Kade Tun Sapar सच तेरा पैस कारिया तन सो तेरा तान है सच तेरा पैस कारिया सच तेरा पैस सच तेरा पैस कारिया तन 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 रामदास गुरु तन रामदास गुरु जिन सिरिया तिन Gurditatmana Sadariya Gurditatmana Sadariya Gurditatmana Sadariya Ramdas Guru Ramdas Guru Jinnasiniya Tinne Savariya Jinnasiniya Tinne Savariya Jinnasiniya Tinne Savariya Jinnasiniya Tinne Savariya ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ So, welcome to those of you who have joined us during the chanting. I'm just going to bring the computer a little closer so that I can make out who is here. All right, so let's see who's here. And we have some of our regulars, Jesse and Gulzan and Satkriya, Kiran Deep, Jazz. Great to have you all here. Rupinder, I think that you've been here before too. Not sure. Let's see what else we have. And thank you, Kiran Deep, for again posting the lyrics, the words to that Shabad. And Baldev Singh, yes, welcome back. Glad to have you too. Let's see. Sorry, we've got a few more people. Judith from Latvia. Nice to see you again. And Abhiraj again. Great to have you with us. Renate from the Netherlands. Welcome. Jasveer, welcome. And let's see. Mohan Sangeet, welcome back. Rebecca, yes, I've seen you several times before here too. So a lot of core group that's coming today, and that's wonderful. And Gurjit, welcome. So I was thinking about what to talk about today a little, and we've talked about a lot of different topics. But today I thought we'd talk about understanding mantra, because this Shabad is also used as a mantra. And so I thought it would be good to get some perspective on understanding what is mantra. So those of you who may have gone through a level 1 teacher training in Kundalini Yoga to become a teacher, probably you understand this question a little better than others. But I'm going to go through it with some basics, but also perhaps with some new insight. So, typically we translate mantra to mean mind, which is mind, which is man, mind. Tra could be wave or frequency or pattern, something that comes into the mind and changes the way the mind is, or you could say the way the mind works. I like to also think about it as shifting the spotlight of your focus, in your mental focus, away from the monkey mind, the monologue that keeps going, and moving it over to focus on the mantra. And in doing so, you bring some stillness within yourself and a feeling of peace. There's physiological things that we've talked about before a little bit with the acupressure points in the mouth as we repeat the mantra. But I thought I'd talk a little bit more about understanding mantra from a more metaphysical level. And it's going to be esoteric, I can tell you that, in that these things are hard to actually bring out from personal experience. But I think that we can get there. We can touch on some good points. So mantra is a phenomenon that uses sound. And sound is vibration or frequency. And so from a very sort of macro perspective, we can see that the universe began with what they call the Big Bang. And that in many ways, since that moment, the universe has been expanding just as sound travels in a wave outward, right? And we look at the phenomenon of the universe, the way it works, the way planets are revolving around stars, like in our solar system, and smaller planets around bigger planets like our moon. And then we go down into a more microcosmic perspective, and we see that atoms are made up of particles that are also spinning around each other. And so there's no escaping the fact that frequency and vibration are at the absolute core of understanding our universe. And so therefore, I feel that mantra, which is an essential sound, is at that primal level of creation in the universe. That mantra is a kind of sound intention. That as the sound is created, it carries an intention. It creates an intention moving outward in our universe. We can say that as we vibrate the mantra, it has an effect in our life, perhaps in the lives of others. And so in that way, we are shaping the universe as we chant the mantra. The mantra itself is like the key that unlocks the transcendence, the transcendent experience of the universe for each of us, right? Because we are part of the universe, but we are also trying to observe the universe and understand the universe. As much as we are part of it and in the flow of the universe, there is part of us which is, we can call the observer, which tends to want to see the flow of our life, of the universe around us. And yet, in the experience of repeating the mantra, we have an experience of transcending all of that game, all of that play, that we step outside our usual, our normal understanding and experience of the universe. It transcends. That's where the mantra can take us. You know, sound is an essential human experience. Even if we get beyond the metaphysical for a moment and just look at how we as human beings function, sound is primary to us, or at least vibration. You can see that in the womb, we have sound as perhaps our only real sensory experience of the world while we are in utero. We can't see anything. We can't taste anything. The world is very small in terms of feel, So, but the auditory input that is coming through the mother and through her own voice and the voices around her and the sounds around her, we start to already get some understanding of what is this universe that we are experiencing as we first become aware while within the womb. And even afterwards, in the first few months especially of life, we are not so clear about being able to see and understand what objects are or what they mean. We are pre-verbal, so there are no words that can express or show us what things are, but the tone and the quality of sound has a big impact, and that's why mothers, parents, adults, they want to make sounds that soothe and calm the infant. And that's what we as infants will respond to, whereas harsh sounds can agitate. And so we tend to avoid those as parents, keeping our children away from loud and difficult noises. So I feel that within our DNA, within our evolutionary progress, we have been selected to be pre-programmed to respond to sound in a much more primal way than most people think about it. I feel that sound is speaking to our psyche on a level that both initiates and also kind of remembers emotional response. So we have already, when we come into this human life, we already have an important relationship with sound. If you look at our history on this planet as humans, the earliest, or the oldest, I'll say, the oldest artifact that we have found of early humans is a flute made of animal horn. But that flute predates the existence of language by thousands of years. And so just pause for a moment to think about what life must have been then. So sound may have been used to communicate with each other in some way before they had language. But I also feel that sound was used to commune with the divine. That even in that early stage of our human development, there was recognition of some essence, some divine quality within the universe that needed to be communed with, that needed to be touched, that needed to be invoked into the experience of what human experience was, even at that stage. So we use sounds, yes, we use sounds today as mature human beings. We use sounds in our communications. We have words, we have language. But through these spiritual practices, we also have sacred sounds, or mantras. And that these sacred sounds have a unique role to play in our evolution as individuals, as well as the human race. That they play this role of giving us a chance to connect on the most basic level, our auditory level, with an experience that is transcendent and deeply grounding into even our humanness. Because the more you transcend, the more you understand through humility what being human means. Now, words in our life have a lot of power too. You know, not just mantras. I mean, you don't walk around just saying mantras to each other. There are other words. And there are words of love, and there are words of hate. And with one word, we can seal a loving relationship. However, one word said in haste or unconsciousness can destroy a lifetime of good intentions and good actions. So in our communication, it takes a long time for most of us to get to the point where we have the ability to be conscious as we communicate. But those of us who are on this path of consciousness may already have had this experience, but I'm going to say it to you now, and that is that through our spiritual practice, we actually gain more ability to speak more consciously in our everyday lives. And part of that is the practice of choosing our words. But another part of it is about developing the ability to listen deeply. And I feel like that's one of the most fantastic blessings that I have learned through the practice of mantra and Shabad Guru, is that even while I am chanting, while I'm singing, I'm also listening and going deep into that experience of the sound as it's happening. Not just making sound, but also listening. And that's a challenge for us sometimes, because we, especially if you are the person leading the chant or the mantra or the Shabad on a guitar or on a harmonium or anything, it's hard to stay focused on what you have to play on the instrument and also be exploring the experience in the moment. And that's a challenge, but it's also one of the most divine rewards, because through that challenge, through the keeping up through that challenge, not collapsing, not giving in, not saying I can't, but rather embracing the challenge and allowing the divine to lend a hand so you don't feel alone, so you feel supported. And then you can continue through that challenge of being fully alert enough to keep everything going with the instrument you're playing, but also having the chance to dive deeply into the experience in the moment created through the recitation of the mantra or the Shabad. And so I hope some of you may get inspired by that to step into picking up an instrument, simple or complex, whatever, and sharing in your community to lead the chanting. You know, it's funny that we've ended up at this point in our discussion, because one of the most important outcomes from the story of the origin of the Shabad Dandan Ram Das Guru, if you remember back, you know, so many weeks ago when I told that story, that what happened was that the musicians left the court of the Guru, and that there weren't people to really carry the music. And so what was decided in that moment was that everybody should carry the music. Everybody should step into doing their best. And, some will be better than others. It doesn't matter. But even with simple skills, to step into carrying the music, lifting it up and just carrying it. Maybe you don't carry it very far, but you contribute to that service in the community. And that was one of the lessons that came out of this Shabad being written, was that all of us should step into and carry the energetic service of giving the support for the experience, the musical support for the experience. Now, do we absolutely need musicians? No. We can have these experiences without the music. But it is certainly more enjoyable when there can be music to support, and especially live music. It brings such an immediacy to it. And here we are, doing our best in this time when we can't be together, to have an experience of live music and live chanting in the moment, so that we can be uplifted and we can uplift each other, which is even more divine. So I'm going to just take a look at your comments to see if we've got any questions. So I see a comment from Jazz, and I'm going to get to that. Just scrolling back up first. Okay. Yeah, so let me bring this up to the screen here. So Jazz says, last week I was going through a rough time and started to lose faith. And your words of wisdom were very comforting and made me realize where I was going wrong. All right, well, it's great that you had that experience. That's why we're here, to help each other, to give each other a hand when we can. And, I'm here today helping. Perhaps tomorrow you will help somebody, each of you, or today, or maybe you do already. So we're here for each other. And I think that's the biggest message going into the Aquarian age, that no longer is it about just one voice. The wisdom is no longer carried just in one human, but rather we are all together, supporting each other, inspiring each other, leading, following, all at the same time. So that's the model. And, that's the challenge for us as we move into this Aquarian age more and more fully. Satkriya has a question, so let's see. She says, I'd like to ask if the spiritual name given to us works as a mantra. It encloses the gift that we are, and we have to work for it. That's a great question. And a lot of times I will take students through an experience of chanting their own name. And I think it's powerful. So the answer is yes, your name can be a mantra. And yes, it can be used as a kind of affirmation for you. It feels a little odd at first, and it certainly feels odd if you have to do it in public. But to do it for yourself, quietly within your own space, I think is very powerful. I firmly believe in affirmations, and the meaning of our spiritual names can definitely function in that way. And so yes, do try it, repeat it aloud, chant it with a melody, chant it in a monotone, doesn't matter, try whatever works for you. But as you chant the words, then reflect on the meaning. And so Sat Kriya. So let's just look at that. Sat is truth. Kriya is action. So you can say that and Kaur, you can translate as princess. I find that a little strange. So perhaps you can translate it um, as woman of spirituality, and you can say, I am a woman of of truth and true action through spirituality. However you want to translate these things, but find a way that works for you, poetically or just in a very essential meaning that carries some weight. And then just say that, translate it, write it down, write it on the mirror, uh, so that you see it every morning. Yeah, it'll help you. Kiran Deep is asking, what do you mean when you talk about the Aquarian Age? Yeah, Kiran Deep. So um, there is a system of looking at the evolution of time, going back 4,000 years to the Vedic times, that breaks time into a very, very big cycle. And that cycle is broken up into what we call yugas, or ages. And so we have also, within another system, an astrological map of time that also breaks time into a number of years based on astrology or astrological understanding. And that we have in our timeline, we as human beings, the planet Earth, has just recently moved out of Pisces, the Piscean age, which was about control and domination and hierarchy, right? But the Aquarian age is like the pendulum is swinging the other way. The Aquarian age, which we have now entered into, but of course these things this change happens slowly over a long time, not just as soon as the year arrives. So the Aquarian age is much more about openness and transparency, uh, um, open organizations, open source, if you want to get something more current, and the idea that we all are of value, that we are all of equal value. So egalitarian perspective. In many ways, I feel like the ideals of the Aquarian age are very much the ideals that Guru Nanak taught and embodied. So if you want to understand the Aquarian age, just look at what he taught about. Gender equality, no castes, no hierarchies, no priests, just all of us equal and with equal responsibility to the community at large. Not even any importance put on a particular practice, spiritual practice over another. Just all understanding that we are all one. And so I hope that answers your question a little bit. Yeah, and since then we've had a few other people arrive. Alson from Ireland, welcome. And Harjeet Kaur, welcome. And Ozlam, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but welcome from Istanbul. So we do this program twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if you've just tuned in, we're just about to end. But you can go back and watch from the beginning if you want. It will live on our Facebook page. And tomorrow is a special program. Well, they're all special, but every Friday I'm doing a program where I have a different kirtan musician as a guest. And they play a little music and we talk. So tomorrow my guest will be Sarasat Simran Singh of the Chardikala Jatha, and that should be a very interesting conversation. He's playing a shabad that is very sweet in this moment. It's about the Guru as a kind of protector, and don't worry, everything will be okay. You know, it's like don't worry, be happy in the Gurbani Kirtan realm. So I hope you'll tune in for that program. And as I said, Tuesday I'll be back with this program again. Please like this program and share it with as many people as you can think of. That will help our outreach. We really appreciate all the regulars who are coming, and also any of the new people who are stopping by. It's great to see you. Mantra Pavan, I see you there. And Lelia, Gurshare, yeah, from Sao Paulo, very nice. And Pav Singh, again, great. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Don't seem to be any other questions in the comments. So may you be safe, may you stay healthy, and I hope you can stay home, and may you be blessed. Satnam, we'll see you next time. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.